I'm Brenda Power Medicine, and I'm glad that you're here with me today because uh, I like doing these events or these lives or whatever you want to call them. But the beautiful thing is that Spirit likes to speak. I putting together classes to help people to learn how to connect to that bandwidth, to look to that seventh plane, to understand it can be safe when it does tune into their intuition, their higher self. And it's so important to understand how you function as a human. Now, I don't really just clarify myself as a psychic or any of that. I read energy. But what I do is also I care about your mental health. Your mental health is with your emotional health. I care so much about the emotional health because it affects everything else in your life. I care about your spiritual health, for it is about how you are going to move into this next phase of your life, okay? And this next energy that's coming on the planet. Now, in order to really get there, with grace and ease, you need to learn how to resolve your issues so you can evolve. So you can learn how to heal instead of deal. We've been taught that we just have to go there and there's nothing we can do and there's no manual for living and everything is hell. And that's what the fear energy was all about. We don't have to really think or believe that way anymore. So it's up to each and every one of us to look at our mirrors. I'm looking at myself through every aspect of me, which is all of you that happen to come into my view. I can look at the group consciousness and see where the paradigms are. I can look and see what I'm viewed every day. I don't have to make sure I learn all the news because I'm going to be wrapped up in all that story. Now, I don't mind watching news. If Spirit tells me to turn it on, I will. But your mental health, your thoughts will go nuts only if the chemical peptide of the emotions are activated if you're too involved in it. You can have feelings, you can have particular emotions, you can have, experiences. But it's when you over-identify, lay claim to certain emotions, that they become twangs inside of you. They'll twang and you're like triggered and you're like, and it triggers other emotions. When that happens, that is when it's your past. Do you understand? You can have feelings. I want you to get to the state where you have spontaneous love attacks. You've heard of panic attacks. I want you to have love attacks. And the only way to really get those love attacks is to go to that next level of releasing, okay? Heal instead of deal, resolve to evolve. And when you do, you get to get connected more to that higher self, which is closer to God. Connected to your heart, which is closer to love. And when you look inside, it can get very crazy. So my job is very helpful in helping you do what you need to do next. So I love looking at all the people that are joining because you have become my family. I'll get on Facebook every now and then and I'll see these beautiful faces and I'll see, what your posts are, because not every one of them pops up. But yeah, it's just beautiful. Now behind me is these beautiful feathers. Okay. And then I have some peacock feathers. So I had a new client that came. She only lived just a little ways from me. And beautiful woman. Her soul just glowed with love. It was just gorgeous. And I was, I was able to sit there and get engaged in a relationship that her soul says, you know what? I do want to resolve to evolve. And she brought me a gift, and I love gifts, but she brought me a gift and that energy exchange before I did anything else. It was a beautiful gratitude that I could see the energy come right back to her. Even if she didn't see me, she already had all of this love bouncing to and fro. She didn't do it just so she could receive. She was doing it because she was so grateful And I thought, okay, we're really, I really look at you guys and I see souls and I honor you the best I can. But that day it was just like, wow, I'm going to honor, but I'm going to see all this energy just come in and honor her too. And I felt like she had her tribe from the other side just come in and communicate. And it was just, I got to see more energies than I've seen in a long time. And it's like, oh, I mean, she's healing. I'm just guiding. And I'm literally watching new energies just, I mean, I saw the Metatron cube. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was just so marveled at this beauty that I was able to witness. And I am thankful for that. And I think we're going to end up being a long-time friends, client, teacher, all that. But that tribal, and that's what I'm looking for, is the tribe. So I love looking at all you guys. I love the names. I love looking at your post and all of this. I want all of you to wake up and to go to that next part of yourself. So I was asking a couple of women. I'd ask men, but not many men I've run into yet. So it's the feminine aspect that I'm supposed to be looking at right now. So, there has to be a way that I can ask certain questions. And beautiful Lisa is helping me to, there's always another question. There's this deeper question that I'm really asking. And it dawned on me that when I'm helping you, I want you to get it. What do I want you to get? Not that you're just love, but to get that you have a choice. And I've watched people, they got to experience the healing, but it didn't mean nothing to them because their addiction to that particular life was all in this play of a paradigm into the value system and the belief system that their soul was playing out, which happens to be the 8th chakra, which is something that's so important for your health, but it is also the archetypes. Caroline Myss, regardless, I've never met her, but I sat on my couch many years ago, probably 97, 8, whatever. I can't remember. I just remember I watched her on PBS and she started to explain, anatomy of the spirit, anatomy of, and then she was telling me about energies. And I'm like, oh my God. And she helped me define what it was I've seen, what it was that, what it meant. I've already been into it for quite a few years, but it really zoned in. And you'll find your teacher, you'll find all of those steps, and then you'll be able to put all the pieces together. So here in Australia, it is April 1st. And, I all I can think of is, whoa. Before April 1st, 1996, I was what they would call a Bible thumper. And somebody labeled that to me, and I'm like, what? Just because I want to get closer to God? And I really wanted to go into this relationship of, how do you want to call it? This commune that I wanted. I wanted to feel God. I didn't want to just have to go to the priest and And a really amazing thing started to happen. My life became, I need to study this more. And I wanted to know if I could become a minister. And, it's interesting when you go and talk to the elders, they're like, they size you up. You can feel this. Now, I also was having that mirror that I was judging myself, but I was so shocked that I was so enthused that I wanted to become a minister that they're, what do you want to call it? Just the way that they look at you and say, no, you'll never make it. Now, what I want to tell you to do is that everybody that starts to hit love or like, depending on what you want, this is a way that I can see that you shared. And I think Lenny can too. which I'm trying to find something that's easier for all of us. Yes, I want you to share. But hitting the likes, I go through and will give anybody that shares or likes, I give you a card. I go through all of these decks I have, and Spirit will tell me which deck and which card, and then I send it to you. Now, sometimes I don't know exactly where it goes. Sometimes it goes into the show, and sometimes it goes into your mailbox or maybe your wall. I don't know where it goes. But I noticed that every time my computer wanted to shut down, I would lose track to who I had said, please tag a friend, so I can give you. Now, I can't remember if I got everybody because I'd have to close down, open it up, close it. I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you for simplicity. Here it says, have them hit like, have them hit love, whatever they want to do. If they hit those, then you have a record of it, but you'll also be able to have a list, and then you can go in, and I'm like, oh, wow, that is more convenient. And the whole point is to share, but and make sure other people begin to jump on this bandwagon, because we need more people to hold this energy. When I would be holding all the classes I had, and the more people that came into the space, especially those that are more like-minded, whoosh, I mean, you would not just feel the vibration rise, you would feel the frequency rise. And I cannot tell you how easy access it is to get into your intuition and to get into that space of knowing. It's a whole different field. And that's what I want, is to help to reach more people so they can help hold the light, so we can really do everything more with grace and ease. So hit your likes. Lenny can go up there and look. And Lenny can then put your name in the box. Hit the loves, whatever you want, whichever two of those you want, and we can put it in. She'll go through and look and see if you shared. But, the name goes in the box. So you can get one from the likes up there, or loves, and then the other one, and you'll get a card anyway, because that way I can actually see how to do it right. Okay, now getting back. April 1st, 1996, okay? Before that, went to church. He said, finally, months upon asking, sure. So he enrolls me into this class, but my gosh, every time I went there, it was, I don't know how that I would describe it, except for I was an annoyance. And I was like the second female, and the rest were men. But that, we're not going to hold anything against anything. But it's a paradigm. It was other things that were happening. And then emotionally, and then as that human being, I know I started to feel hurt. And this is before I really got into those healing tools, people. And so one of the things that occurred was that as I was filling out the forms and doing all the paperwork, you got tons of reading, tons of writing, tons of developing. And then when I'd go all excited that I learned something, I would always be told something to discourage me. And I'm like, okay. So, I just was very heartbroken. And then I decided, okay, after as much time as I put into it, I'm done. I just can't do it anymore. I'm done. And then I've learned that when Spirit wants you to do something, yeah, I'm supposed to be a minister, but I wasn't supposed to be a minister in that church, in that field. Just like I wanted to take psychology, and Spirit said no. I've learned that what I think I want is, I think this is the only way you can get it, and it's not true. You're being carved into what it is that your soul wants you to be. Because in 1996 was the first time I got ordained. And it was okay but it was about doing Reiki, and I was learning all about that energy field and all of that. But on April 1st, 1996, when I received the certificate, I laughed my head off because I didn't realize the day. And I thought, no, this isn't good enough. I need to I want to really hone in on my craft. So I went to metaphysical college, okay, and it was so then in 2005 I became an ordained metaphysical minister, which I didn't know existed, and then I went on from there to I decided I needed something more in the healing realm besides the spiritual realm, and that's when I went to the Nemaha Band and the Native American Traditional Organization. The Oklahoma Native American Church of St. Pete is designed for people that traditionally want to be healers to help the people. And so at the time, it was about spiritual adoption. And you had a lot of studying to do. So then I became a medicine woman. And I had, and a traditional spiritual leader. And that is what I was meant to do. And all of these steps that got me there, if I would have tried to force myself and to hold on to that anger and that I couldn't belong to that church, or that men didn't accept me, which was the energy of, but it doesn't have to be that. Spirit said, this door's closed, but that door's wide open. Because I was the unknown, I couldn't see it. Because I was the unknown, I feared it. So I have devoted myself to spirituality, devoted myself to the creator that all that is. I have devoted myself to my soul, understanding that this life is an illusion, understanding how we create reality, how does a human function. And now my job is not to just keep it to myself. I am meant to share. Then I'm also now supposed to go back to teaching, and I will. And so to me, this is exciting. So I'm putting these classes together, tons of ideas. Me and my husband, Alan, he has this wonderful property, which is ours, and it's our house, it's our land, and it's this togetherness energy that has been the next piece of, whoa, it's not all this separation. Because we don't blame each other. That was part of our vows. Part of our vows was to evolve, to understand each other as a mirror. I mean, it was written in our vows. I'll have to find the vows. And so our front garden is made into a healing path. And it's more than one type of healing path, and we'd like to make it into a game, but it extends on a walk that goes to the back of the house. And then you get to go on a journey, which I haven't painted yet, but a journey of who you are, which was consciousness, to all the evolution, to what our soul, I haven't decided how the picture's going to look. Spirit just told me I was going to do that. And then there's so many other things to do. Okay. Now, if any of you, I always love to do 11:11. Now, I haven't seen it. I owe somebody because when I did the last show, they paid after the show was up. I do not see them here today, so that means that they must be on a Tuesday night and not a Monday day. So your name is always, like, for instance, they would be the first I would read because they paid ahead of time. But anyways, 11:11 is not big deal at all. It helps me by putting the money towards, getting a new computer so that I get better equipment and to do more, because the beautiful people here gifted me a camera, but I realized that after much work that it has a lot to do with Facebook, but it also has a lot to do with those codes that, because I'm still working on Windows 7. And it depends on how. Okay, so they just completely switched chords. Now everybody's coming in. I can feel it like rushing to me. They're like, well, when can we have our time? Well, you can have your time right now. So, like I said, you share. Namely, if you hit like and love, your name can go in the box for a chance for a free reading. But if you like or you love, you get a card after the show. I'll send you a card. So you end up getting a card reading anyway, in the small sense. Well, that was funny. It was 2011. Down here was 120. So, and then 20, seen 20s everywhere. Okay. As we're coming into balance, yes, I have changed a few things. Like I said, these feathers here came from a beautiful woman that had come, saw my show, and then came for a healing, and she brought gifts to people. So then I changed up here, put the hope chest there. Lenny has one too. So I just changed a few things around. Ooh, spirit is, yeah. Okay. So the only difference between what I do and what other people do is that spirit has honed me into non-judgmental space. So I do my best to send the energy out. Anybody that's ever come to a class knows that once you enter this matrix is all about non-judgmentalness. It's learning how to sit there and, oh my God, that word just flew out of my head. Discernment. Because discernment is a spiritual thing. It is your heart thing. It is not owned by anybody except for when you begin to understand the difference between that and judging it. Now, when you start to create your boundaries, you can learn respect. You learn that that's what they need to do. See, with my ex, we were two great people that no longer fit. How I define it, how my stories is my personal journey. Somebody else may see them different. For instance, this one doctor, my family, and they loved him, and everywhere they turned, they loved him. Okay, great. But I still didn't feel like I'm supposed to connect with that person because that aspect was different. And then I heard all these good things, and then I go to experience it. I get judgment. I get, well, why the hell are you doing that? You should be going to church. I'm like, I came in for a sore throat. Wait, what? And I don't know if it's because I can hear it or I can feel it or whatever it is, but I decided, I'm not doing this. But at the same time, as human, I got angry. I could have went out and shared and said, don't see him because he's blah, 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 blah. But it was like, whoa, why did I project that? Why did my mirror say that? Why does my mirror have issues with the yang energy? And it's not just penises. It is, can I be aggressive enough or assertive? Do I have the voice to do so? Or do I need to tone it down? And the more that I start realizing that it was just energy, the more it has nothing to do with people. Because a soul in the meat suit is meant to show me a reflection. I don't want to say that. A perspective. That's why it's a kaleidoscope of life. A reflection would be more of the diamond facets, the things that you have honed in on. Because coal, getting beaten enough and all this, and that starts to reflect into a diamond. So this is more about a mirror that's just showing you an aspect of you, a characteristic, a personality that can be changed. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, you're the one that has to change so that the mirror will change. Now, people will have their own shit to deal with, and where you end and other people begin. And that's a whole nother ball field, because the more you start to download yourself with knowledge, especially learning to respect the soul, understanding how we create reality, the more you won't want to really play in that field of illusion in the way where you're constantly losing power, or it's a battle for the power. And I'm telling you that I want you to be empowered in such a beautiful way that your soul, your heart, your gut intuition, your higher self, the core facets of love, you can connect into that, and then you'll start to see things change. So let's see. Okay, good. So keep on sharing, keep on liking, and because Lenny's taking the names, putting it in. And so it is April 1st. And, you know, it has taught us that we're not supposed to trust. But you're not supposed to go to the extremes of completely trusting because you don't want to be the joke. But at the same time, just like fear doesn't teach you anything, but fear can also help motivate you into getting out of your comfort zone. Fear, so there is a good and a light side and a shadow side. Before we go any further, so I am asking Spirit to pick a number. Now, 520 is what comes up, and it says, trust that heaven is helping you change your life in a positive way. It's learning to put your trust not just in the human field, but into the knowing. But it all depends on how you define heaven, because heaven is a state of being. So are you going to put your trust in yourself, or are you going to put your trust in your authentic self? Because when you do that, you're able to live life on a different plane of existence. And I'm talking about planes of existence. You know, that seventh plane is so important because that's where the bandwidth is, in my opinion, is getting into that energy field. Now, if you have questions, you know, like you want to know about spirituality, by all means ask, because I could share those on the next show. And let's see, did I write that down? Because there was something that somebody said, and I commented. Let's see. Wherever you're with somebody, okay, whenever you're with someone, notice how you feel. Okay. And they're always saying, oh, but that's a good indicator whether you're with a bad person or a good person. I'm going to tell you yes and no. If you have programs which are creating filters, that person with that signature is always an asshole. But yet this next person has to show that filter, but is not an asshole. But yet you are going, based on your emotions and your feelings, you're going to be always looking for a filter, which could give you the wrong impression. Okay. When you are fearful, literally, you'll start feeling the difference, the extremes. You can learn to walk away. I've had to walk away from good people by all means of what you call a good person, but they were pissed because I wouldn't live my life the way they had it set up for me. And I'm like, hey, I just met you. Or I have never met you, but yet, what? And then I have programs that says that when I was younger, that these people know better than I do. So when that program ran, it applied it to every person. And then when you run into a narcissist that only wants their agenda, it then becomes a lesson, a huge lesson for you to change the way you have some programs. Okay? So what I told people is that, yes, you can look at it as a sign, but you can also look at it if it's a negative response. Your soul's asking you, can you heal this now? It's literally just saying to you that this reflection or this perspective, this mirror, is saying that you're losing power. And then you can look at it as a program and go, oh crap, that's a program. You can look at where you have defined that moment with, I resent they said that, because then you have to use that filter to resent for everybody else. Now, some people you have to work with and live with. You can heal and you can resolve issues that all of a sudden you no longer fit because you zag, they zig. They are removed from your life, and because you are leveling up, you are going into that new state of where you need to be. So be proud of yourself. And when you look and you don't match up with somebody and you wish you did, you're weeding. But we get so attached and we take it so personal, and we're like, oh, they don't like it. But if you can learn to read life differently, then you'll be going, wow, I dodged a bullet. Or I haven't developed enough in an area where I need to feel more confident and to assert myself so that people see that, she's fun to be around. You know, it's about you and how you have reflections. Healing is so good. Good job, Amanda. Now I go back and I read these comments again. So I really appreciate it. So my first look is to see if anybody has paid an 1111. And if they haven't, then I go to the next thing, which I need to open a little button here. Where's my button? I'm sure people have found my button. They have pushed it many times. There it is. But I want you to understand that part of our reality has to do with the 8th chakra, but it also has to do with the archetype that we've brought in to learn from. We all come in with the victim, saboteur, the prostitute, and the child in many forms. And those we're learning to go from one extreme to the other, but we're learning to find the in-between. And the archetype that I'm looking for, or spirit wants me to pick, is something, and these archetype cards are from Caroline Mace. This particular card, I don't know, they just want me to pull it. Oh, wow. Because like you can have the damsel in the night, you could see you playing that out. I knew it. They told me the card it was going to be, and I'm thinking, well, thanks. Now, let me just explain to you that a card can be, like that, and it has the light attribute and the shadow attribute. And you can learn from the shadow and thinking, oh, these are the aspects I don't need anymore, I can grow from. But the card that they drew was blank. We're entering a new archetype coming in. Some of you will say, oh, the millennials. And that is, but it's also a paradigm that comes in. So I'm curious of what this card's going to be about. Now, what's going to trigger its lesson is the addict. Okay? The light attribute, it helps you recognize and confront addictive behaviors. I have found, along with Garber Mate, Dr. Garber Mate is about, or Gabor, is that there's an emotion, a loss of love, and it's not knowing how to handle and cope and manage and pacify your world, that when you do find something, whether it's another emotion or something that's solid, that gives you that comfort, but it gives you that slight, I love you, everything's gonna be all right, a big hug. And when I go to help people, including myself, mainly it was myself that I began with, was notice the attachments. Okay? The attachments was huge. I was attached to, how people see me. I was attached to, oh my God, you know, this negative person was actually dictating my world because and I'm like, oh my God. But I was addicted to that pain. And so then of being hurt, that was my identity. And I had to change that. Now, the shadow aspect says compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive behavior to have authority over your inner spirit. And it does. And I love using the healing tools I got, especially help therapy, because it gives you back your energy, helping you spiritually grow. Now, the other card that fell was the Advocate. Light attribute inspires you to put compassion into action. So you're going to have compassion and addiction with this new archetype that's being presented. The shadow aspect of the Advocate is embracing negative causes or committing to cause for personal gain. Wow, that's huge. So it's learning about doing the right thing. But the more you work with your soul, the more you'll notice that you don't have to look out into the world and feel you are it. You're not the world. You're not your home. You're not your hair. You're not your looks. You're not your food. You're not your car. You're not your kids. And you're going to hone in and look in, and then you'll get connected to that heart, get connected to that particular space, and you will be able to live into how you define your world. You will begin to live in redefining your world so that you'll start doing what's more right for your spirit, more right for this planet, more right for love. Okay. The first person is Amy Schmaltz. Amy, are you here, dear? Because you got and won a free reading. Come on, clear. And Amy Schmaltz. So anybody here, if you hit like or love, however you want to do it, because you'll get a card afterwards. I go through and see who did it and then send a card. You share and you get your name in the box. Okay, there's Amy. And Amy, what would you like, sweetheart? Anything, cold readings? We can call and we can work, through so other people can hear you, or we can do it over this. Cold reading? Okay. Ooh. I feel something small in your arms, and I'm not sure what that is, but I feel like now all of a sudden I'm flustered, which means you could be scrambled energy. Yeah, I can feel all of this just kind of very much scrambled. What else do you want me to know? It's majority of your time you are trying to think about your thoughts to be clear. Well, what makes her scrambled? Her self-conscious of what people, very self-conscious. What age is she being? 6 years old. There's something about pointing out that the language of when you communicate is that you've done something wrong. You've done something wrong. And if that's the case, then there's a part of you that went into being scrambled because no matter if you did it right or wrong, it's always seen as wrong. Really? So you attract a lot of people in your world that causes a repulsion. Things just don't fit right, and it just people push you away. And when they push you away, it makes you go into, you don't feel liked, you don't, something must be wrong with me. So then you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, it's my face, it's my body. Or you look at, oh God, it's because of my attitude. So you sound like you blame yourself because you're looking for the answer to why you seem to be repelling certain people. Does that make sense? When you start to see the pattern happen, like you want to say hi to somebody, but you can just, there's like a panic in you because you know that, you want to say oppressed, not depressed, depressed. Because there's a feeling that gets triggered afterwards, and it is like a depression. Good, Amy says it makes sense. I love this new button that they do because it says that you shared. It says share, so that must be new. You seem to attract people that are more, have more contempt for you. I feel like we need to define this just a little bit. I'm hoping it doesn't disconnect or screw up the camera in any way. Okay, the feeling that a person or thing is worthless or beneath consideration. So, have you had people? Have you had people that just figured you weren't worth considering? That you actually literally feel this from people? Okay. They're saying that you came in with a very hard road of acceptance, because people have, because you haven't let go of being petrified of people. Then worthless has something that always came in around 2 years old. It is a state of energy that people have said, okay, like if you're labeled, let's say people labeled you white trash, or people labeled you that you're from the wrong side of the tracks. Or do you understand what I'm saying? I feel, whether people have or have not, I feel this energy about you that says, because they're putting this energy, you're standing in the middle. I see this energy that looks like this is the way you're supposed to be greeted. This is the way that you're supposed to be treated. And that feels like an archetype. Yes, it is. Okay. And that you basically have met up with a lot of people that are ego, wanting to control your sweet nature. What's nice is you haven't become hard-hearted, hard-hearted, whatever. Your heart has not hardened, but it still perplexes you about the pain that you still get from people. You've learned you learn to not go, oh my God, what are they doing? It is, will make me feel like shit. Hopefully my screen's better. But if that's the case, then understand that what I would do to heal this, okay, besides connecting with me in person, is notice the silent brooding. It is your thinking. It is the way that you go into a feeling of hurt and you will silently smile and suffer, because this is what locks that into place. And they're saying if you could do EFT, resolve that particular emotion out, then it can change. The next one would be discouraged. Okay. Discouraged is huge because the silent brooding lives in the lung, and the discouraged is in the large intestine. That is the metal energy, and it's about this letting go. Okay, metal's about, you know, making your life, letting go of things. But if you don't understand the process of that, metal is meant to, you know, it's the opposite of hoarding. You're just going to get things out of your life. But when you let change have to happen, then grief can come in, because if you don't want change, it's going to be grief. If you don't want to let something go, you're going to have grief. So you're fighting within yourself, because the people that you're drawing into your space, they're meant to be weeded out so that you can go and find people that are more like you. I hope that makes sense to you, dear. So definitely notice that you begin to see life is the same. Everything's the same. Everything's grief. Everything is, oh, this person's just like this. Because what you're doing is you have this filter on, and you use it to, and they say they want you to tap that out. EFT would be the easiest way. There are so many other tools. Hope therapy is the best, because I get to take you through the levels and you just get it going. Oh, Amy said it makes perfect sense. So, sweetheart, we want you to be a happier, healthier soul. So begin to apply those tools on those emotions. Apply the tools on any negative emotion. And especially if you think, they don't like me. Even though they don't like me, I deeply feel love and accept myself, okay? That is EFT that I was doing. Okay. All right, so, you know, if you shared, you've hit the love or like button. You know, Lenny is busy doing what she needs to do, and we're happy that you're here today. As she's drawing the other name, again, if you want 1111, it's easy to do. $11 into PayPal, you get 11 minutes right here. And look at it, some beautiful new names. I like to see that. I give you every opportunity, so if you wanted a card, even if I can't give you a reading, or if you haven't gotten a free reading and you didn't want to pay for it, you can still hit the love and like button, and you can get one that way. And share it helps out so much, because it helps us start to get the energy out there. You're welcome, Amy. You know, thank you for your energy and time. You have a beautiful energy. Your soul's there. It's gorgeous. You know, now if we can just get every part of you to start to reflect that, then you will actually let go of those, that perspective you have to draw in. We'd like you to become happier and getting to know yourself better. Oh, my screen moved. There he is. Okay. The next person that made it in the box, oh my God, I'm going to butcher the name. Lenny, can you just type it in there? Oh, I'm going to try it. Okay, it's L-E-A. Oh, it looks like, yeah, Angela. So Leangela Durante. Leangela, and then it's Duarte, if it's correct. Lenore, if you're here, you have won a free 7-minute reading. Look at all those pretty faces. New names. Love that. Okay. This delay, I don't know how this delay is right now. And it's beautiful here today. We finally got rain in Adelaide. So I was happy about that. Yes. I can feel it. I can feel it. So, this one. Sea life. Now this is Animal Speaks. The mussel. If you happen to run across a dream about mussels, eat them, around them, pictures, whatever, the point is the mussel is preserves, that's what it stands for, preserves with and endeavors you are attached to. Attach yourself to new opportunities, strongly sustained efforts will be rewarded. So that's if you happen to, even after the fact, if all of a sudden I triggered you and you happen to see mussels all day long, even simple mussels, you know, spirit will speak to you in many ways. Oh, snowing. Oh, my friend in Michigan told me it was snowing. Yuck. All right, not seeing the person here. So I'm going to ask Lenore to, and she's right on it. All right. Snowing. I miss it only, but no, it's starting to get cold here. Ah, rain. Exactly. It was good. All right. I'm waiting for Lenore. It says that she's typing. Oh, I want to go to California too. Me and my husband we would love to do when he gets to be retired. We're going to be able to travel to do our what we call like living room tours, and that is I come to your area. So somebody will be a representative. Um, let's say Lisa did it. We happened to go to California. She would set up having people that she would show find people that want to do whispering opportunities, um, which is people would sit in a room and then I would give you readings, and or I would help you do a healing, or I would have a demonstration so that you could feel a live action of how things are, or we could set up classes, many things. So I could spend 2 or 3 days just in Lisa's neck of the woods, um, helping spread the word even more and to help people heal and learn how to do things. So, you know, I think that would be a grand opportunity because, yeah, there would be a cost for certain things, but we have to pay for that cost to fly over, and it doesn't matter. 4 a.m. in the UK. Girl. Whew. I'm going to see. I've lost it. Oh, that would be great. So, yeah, that would be great. Lisa says, I can do that. Yeah, and then, see, and I totally, really believe that everything's building. That's why it's taking that time for me to get those classes done, taking the time to doing, because spirit wants to speak, and sometimes it just loves to talk and ramble, and then there's sometimes it says, oh, we can't talk about that because you need to go study something. Like, all right. But anyways, we want to start doing those. I still want to do the whispering opportunities, which are like if you, for instance, had a woman party or whatever you want to call it, or you have a party and you want me to come, then people pay a certain amount and I come and I do my thing. Or speakers. I mean, I used to once a month go to a groups and I would do talks, motivate people. It was great. Okay, so the next person, see, because I was waiting for Lenny, but somehow it says she's typing, but it's not working. Leanne Moore, Leannewar, Leanne Moore. Are you here? I got like a piece of hair that's just tickling just right, and it's driving me bonkers. So I'm sorry to be touching that area, but it's just annoying. Oh, I love to see where everybody's from. This is going to be great when I go through and look through it. Oh, look at that. Wow. What does it say? 18 people? Oh, more than that. It's got to be. No, 18 people that I can that's going to get a card because they hit the love or the like button. And then they share. Oh God, this is awesome. Okay, not seeing Leanne. All right, that's 2 people that have had the opportunity. Okay, Lenore, could you please, sweetheart, pick another name? Yeah, pick another name. Oh, the spirits want to play. They're like, while they're waiting. All right, there's a male that's present, and he says, don't worry, she'll show up. And he says that it's like almost 24/7, her thoughts are muddled. And there's like always this instability. And this instability is understanding that anything in the environment, too much noise can drive them nuts. Little things can just start bothering them. And when that begins to happen, it's like, what about me? What about me? So it sounds like it's overwhelming. Regardless of how quiet it is to how loud it is, it's a very much an overwhelming. And they say when that happens, that creates this low self-esteem. And you just want to check out. You just want to say F the world. You just want to go in their space. And he says, honey, he says, your pride, you need to heal your pride. Yes, I see you do this, but you take and do too much pride in your work because of that, it doesn't allow you to move into the area that you want because you're only seeking a particular answer about this because you always keep looking at the failure of it. So you must be a perfectionist to some degree because perfectionists will always see the failure and they're looking for accolades or they're looking for themselves to accept themselves. But what it boils down to is basically you want that balance and you don't know how to find, that part is like, where do you find the balance? So you go into all these different stages and it becomes a very much an unhealthy strategy to get from point A to point Z. It's very unhealthy because it's like you have to be stressed all the time. He's like, stop it! Heal your pride. All right, let's do that. You're welcome. Gwendolyn Barnes. Gwendolyn Barnes. What about it? Something gets under the skin. Gwendolyn Barnes, are you here? What does it mean to be irrelevant? Gwendolyn Barnes, are you here? Hello. This whole thing. Oh, well, we have all these other people here. Gwendolyn, yay! All right, tell me, what would you like? A cold reading? Thank you so much. I seen all those. Thank you. You hear me? Yay! Okay. That was good confirmation. I just got a burst of love. I think you're new, as far as for me reading you. And give you a cold read, or if you have a very specific question wanting to know why life is turning out so shitty, or how can you solve something, what is your patterns, connecting with the other side, we'll see who comes through. So, nope, pop up. So if you have, Gwendolyn, otherwise I'm just going to begin. Okay, and I'll look up and hopefully shoe shine. Okay, I don't know what that is. Does she do the hysterical? No, you're greeted with an hysterical. Oh wow, they're just showing. I don't want to black out. I don't know what shoe shine, hysterical, and one of the blackouts about. Infamy, known for. You talking about somebody on the other side? Yes. Oh my goodness. You're discouraged for stepping up into being who you want to be because of the ancestries or the people in your life. They didn't maybe do well or do good things according to society. And there's a part of you that feels like if you're known for that association. Gwendolyn, can you tell me if that's you? If any of that sounds familiar? Thank you. My hair. I need a haircut. I need a hairdresser. Anyway, Gwendolyn, if that sounds like you, otherwise I have to look at a different aspect. It's strange because they say, yeah, I'm right on, but yet I feel like you don't get a connection. And if that's the case, then I have to look at something because if you're not aware of, all right, yeah, okay, oh my God, what? You are so used to being invalidated. being disproved. Yes. Okay. So I feel like you people are just, you're so used to being invalidated. I'm going to prove you wrong. It's like, you can't help but to attract people that do that. And you're learning something new and they think they're experts. This is where you have to start to develop whether or not, consider the source of what spirit calls it. Okay, I wouldn't go to a homeless man to take classes on how to become a millionaire. Okay, consider the source. When you think you've gone to an expert, understand they're giving you their point of view, depending on if they're connected to spirit or if they're connected to just ego. But you need to come in alignment with those that are expert in the field that you desire. But for some reason, you keep attracting people that think they're experts. We know better than you. And what that does, it causes you not to be able to think for yourself. It's causing a lot of not being able to have your voice, not being able to own your voice, really. They said that you're addicted to awkwardness. All of a sudden I want to use sign language and I have no idea why. So if that's the case, take all these little clues. The stuff I said at the beginning, like I want to use sign language now. I understand it when person comes to you and they say they're an expert, if they are an expert in how they saw it, perceived it, and how they've worked with it. But if you take another person that looked at it from this angle, has the same thing, they will have a different answer. Which answer fits for you? So I feel like in a way, you have come into a state of how people, you know, it's like, who do you trust? You need to go in and trust your heart. You need to go and trust your higher self. You need to literally start to trust inside instead of these people on the outside. Because I feel like you keep hitting the same wall of repeating, which causes you fear, because the fear of trying to go out scares the crap out of you. So when you go over here, it's like so unknown to you. You're like, oh, so you go back to the people that are so-called experts, and you got to understand they're experts in how they looked at it from their perspective. Again, you get a bunch of people that looked at a building and everybody's standing on a different corner. They're seeing the same fire, but they're not. They will give you a different description. They will give you a different answer, and they will walk away with something totally different, because that's based on the individual. Finding your individuality is so important. Okay. So does she do that? Oh, my necklace just broke. Ah, all that. So who took that off? Okay. Don't need that. Yeah. Okay. So you have a habit of going in and surrendering to a particular emotion that's the safest to you. Who does the acting mean? That's what she stares at. So to get to that, so what does she do? I mean, where does the emotion go? She goes in difference inside of herself, because people act mean. So you go inside and you live in that one particular space. Now, when I say go inside, I'm actually asking you to go into your authentic self, your higher self. You're learning how to use all of you to then resolve how you learn how to cope, manage, deal, and pacify when people act mean. Use a tool. Even though I have to go in different when people act mean, or even though I see everybody acting mean, use a tool. You need to break up that, because it's a very unhealthy, repetitive pattern. It just keeps going around the circle. Break it up and, come see me, make an appointment, do things on your own, apply, what you can learn. I have a lot of free healing tools. I have to remember your name so that I can just send you that information. Yes, there's a lot of wonderful new names out there. If you hit love or the like button, after the show, I will give you a card, even if you didn't make it to the hope chest, which is, you know, when you share. When you share, I also go in and I hopefully didn't change that aspect, but I can see when you've shared after the show, and then I send you a card. Okay, so sometimes you can get up to 2 cards. If I go through and I see that you take somebody, you may get another card. When that happens, understand one card may, because Spirit already knows what you've done, and Spirit will go, look, these cards build upon each other. And it actually begins to tell you a story about what it is that you're doing in the moment. Okay? So that you can get up to 3 cards. See, that's the beauty of it. Now, if you want something done immediately, because I only got one more person that can win free reading, and that's 10 minutes. And that is if you want to pay for readings, 1111. Let me get that up there so I forget. So, and there's many other ways to, you know, do this. You're welcome, Gwendolyn. And I do my best to make sure people are welcome. Usually if they're new people, you know, I'll give you a card, you know, because Spirit really wants you to get the message. Hi, Dylan. So Kelsey says, let's see, I'm also a psychic medium. I love this work too. Oh, can't read yourself. Oh, well, teach you how to do that. Because it is important to, I do my best to heal myself, even though I can't heal myself on bigger ones, that I still can do those things. And I get what you mean by as far as you can't read yourself. Yeah, I see. Even if I can't see your comments now, after the show, I go and I read through the comments. And like I said, people start getting cards. People get, you know, all of a sudden I may blurt out, you know. That's why I said if you ask questions, I can share it on the show, or I can. So nothing's really wasted. It to me. Oh, thanks, Sam. To me, it's important to do all we can do to help each other, you know, get to that next level of where we are. So it's about leveling up. Oh, what happened to my screen? Get back here. I'm going to check to see if anybody has gotten 11, you know, paid for anything yet. It's not a requirement, just is that some people like that. And some people, if you're friends with me, then you can call in and then people can hear your voice and then we can work quicker because we're not doing this lag. And then I won't have to feel like well, it's not that I'm guessing. It's just there's so many different variables I could read. And this is not working now. All right, got to close that down. Try it again. Just open it that way. So the beautiful part, again, is we grow. Oh, I want you guys so much to know how to heal yourself. You know, I have honed in on doing all of these things. Say, I'm coming back and going to watch what I missed. I love that we can do that. Oh, me too. I've been learning. Sometimes I'll throw a watch party, and it's not that I mean to. It's just that I was trying to figure out how to open it. So, well, tomorrow night, Candace, I do another one at night. Now, I don't know where you're from, but at night in here is 9 p.m. in South Australian time, and which I think's like 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, if that helps. Yeah, humming's great. It's amazing because you are frequency, you are color. There's color therapy, there's tone, tuning forks. Oh, you're from Perth. Okay. I can't remember if you're a few hours behind us. Ooh, that makes it, no, that'd be making it fine for you because, yeah. So it's tomorrow night, Candace, if you want to do that. The hope therapy I do, it hones in on all of the things that I studied, from body talk to emotion code to body code to NLP, timeline therapy, hypnosis, you name it. Tuning forks, color therapy, chakras, archetypes, logos, and if you know, esoteric healing, the higher chakra, and energy medicine. Huge about energy medicine, and that's using your own hands. I didn't know this, but I love Reiki, but I've also do the reconnection, and the reconnection has taken me to a whole new point in my life because it helps me really hone in on that bandwidth. That is it's like the safest energy that I know. It just goes like theta, because that's that seventh plane. It's this bandwidth. It's there, and it's everything underneath that you because then you come out. It's like once you're there, it's like you got this protective suit on. I mean, it lines up all my chakras. Okay, and because it lines up my chakras, I can feel the energy healing me as I heal others. And my ego gets out of the way. Really good. Well, if PayPal is going to shut down, then hopefully I can find another avenue that I can trust. Once I upgrade my computers, I've heard Facebook has a pay center, but there's always a way somewhere. All right. Somehow the computer has kind of, I'm moving. I don't know if any of you, so is this froze or not? No, somehow, okay, it's starting to move now. Hopefully I can, I've lost all the comment thing. All right. Do you know what's funny? Is that little share, okay. What happened? Oh, hold on, we got something. Okay. Money has drawn. Samantha. Oh, spirit must be, yeah. Okay, good. Catherine has said Facebook Pay works fast. Now, what's funny is I don't have a cell phone, so it's hard to verify certain things. But at the same time, this old format does not allow me to, it doesn't allow me to get the opportunity for people to pay that way. So I have to, use the PayPal. What I love about the singing and the humming is it changes the vibration and the toning of your chakras, the toning of your vortexes. We have that vortex energy, not just your chakras. And that's why when you're doing EFT and humming, you're using your different sides of your brain, and it allows you to reconnect and do different things. Oh, you're welcome. I didn't read all the time. So where'd she go? I lost. Sam, there you are. All right, sweetheart. How do you want to do this? You know this by now. So what's the update? That's funny. They're asking me to ask you, what's the update? And is it something within that we're going to look at? Really? Really? Why? She's still doing that? Or is that new? And how so? All right, Samantha. What they just said was, I don't know why somebody would hit an anger button. Good point. Spirit says that you have to live through others because it's a self-abuse thing. It's something that you've chosen at 1 year old that you had to live through others because they'll get angry. And you like that compatibility feeling where it's all in sync, and you have a tendency to go into this space that you don't know who you are. All of a sudden, my eye has changed in shape, in my view, anyway. So what they're saying is that you can't see how you can live your life without this particular habit. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's an automatic response. You're not even aware that you're doing sometimes until way after the fact. Somebody in your life was very lofty. What? So, your father? Did your father use like shame or guilt or obsession? It's like an obsessive talk, an obsessive way that it had to look, or obsessive. Um, Catherine. Uh, there was always this feeling that you were disapproved of. Was she supposed to come in as a boy? Were you expected to? Okay, well, you might have heard me say that. There's a point of when, what do you want to have, a boy or a girl? Or you were told that you're going to have a boy, and out pops a girl. So there's this feeling, she says, wasn't good enough. And there's this feeling that puts wow, it makes your mind go blank because you don't know how to do it again. So then it's like, how do I don't even know how to pick up and start again. It's like, yeah, it's you're doing it with all your relationships. Okay. So when you come in and you're not expected, it's like you think that people expect that you should be somebody else. They wish it was somebody else. Ooh, back of my head is now like, because of this, I feel like they didn't really, I don't know if that's true. Like, drop you on your head. Oops, they didn't mean to. Oh, that could be it. I overthink too much. But it's, yeah, you think that they don't love you. You think, and that's probably the overthinking. You think that they don't care for you like they cared for blah, 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 blah. Because you have so many mirrors of reflection, but the perspective of it is that you're supposed to ask, what about me? In a generation that was about family first, I feel like you came in when it was time to say, what about me? And I don't know how old you are, sweetheart, but I remember when I came in, I looked at my older siblings, and the energy, the generation energy that I was looking at was, what about me? And it was all ego. It was all, you're an object, but I'm precious. you're an object, but I'm precious. So it's like, everybody, what about me? Yeah. And you just looked at them for 2 seconds, cared about them, but then you took your eyes off them, cared about you, and you're like, hey, what about me? But you don't want to take that attribute of saying, I don't want to be like them. Well, now is the time where you're going to have to do self-care. And it's learning and unwinding that attachment, that connotation to what about me? That is ego. Now you have to say, there is going to be no me if I don't take care of myself. There is not going to be any me because there's nothing left to give to you. And so the hardest part is going to be to detach yourself from these people. It can be done. I've done it. I've watched other people do it. I've helped other people do it. And you reestablish a new chord. You reestablish a new dynamics. And it can get tricky because if you haven't really developed that, it's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna feel unknown. But you have to be okay with wanting to know how to do that. It's like, I never want to walk. And then all of a sudden you go to get up and walk, it's uncomfortable because you haven't used those muscles. Atrophy is set in. But the more that you do it and retrain yourself, the more that you get stronger. And okay, she's 31. She's young. You were taught to put yourself down because why? Why? Because it's overpowered. Why did her soul project out to people treat her a certain way so she has to put herself down? Because they have given you rejection and you felt that inside the womb, a month inside the womb. So now in the month inside that womb, was it really her? No, she picked it up from her mother that got rejected because she possibly could be pregnant. So you've seen enough TV now that you can see how a drama can be written. But if your consciousness picked up and claimed it as your own, why would your soul do that? Because it needed to learn that it has to live through others. And now you're at the stage that it doesn't have to. If you didn't live through others, then you'd be infamy. Well, that word came up again. Infamy. Being known as, okay, mega mind. If good's already taken, then you have to be known for bad. Does that make sense? So if good's taken, bad's taken, then you have to be the one that so it's like everybody has to take a role in, you're a comedian, you're this, you're that. Everybody's taken a particular role on. And they're saying, okay, now you've lived that. You're done. You're done. You can, rip that script and throw it away. Because you have learned quite a bit. They say you've been doing this from 21 soul lives, meaning you looked at all these different perspectives within each of those times you popped in as a human. And you've gone from one perspective of making sure people feel like shit to the aspect of you feel like shit. And it is finding that fine line. You need to not be a bitch, but you also need to be a bitch in order to be assertive instead of being so relaxed that you're getting walked on. Okay, that's just an example. What I'm saying is that you got to take on your role. I was born to be Brenda Power. Well, I had to be Brenda Heft. I had to be Brenda Bates. I had to be all these Brendas until spirit just weeded. And then all of a sudden it's like, I wasn't supposed to be a minister. Now, if you listen to the beginning of the show, I wasn't supposed to be a minister of that particular church. I'm supposed to be a metaphysical minister. Here, now. Wouldn't have known that. But this is my roles. And I'm comfortable and I love them and I will continue to grow and I will be assertive when it comes to doing certain things. Sam just pointed out a huge thing. She says, my mom does the same thing. That tells you it's also genetic. It's a particular thing that goes through the family line. And you saw it, learned it, needed to. Your soul contract says, okay, you have to learn from this family, learn from this woman. You got to take this on, and now you can actually start saying, I'm done and I'm going to graduate. What does that mean? It means that you can actually use healing tools to take you to the next level. All right. What does that mean? Time for your growth. You get to learn how to heal instead of deal. You get to learn how to resolve your issues so you can evolve. And they say there's a part of you that says you cut out, you didn't want to be this person, but you also forgot who did you want to be. And the thing is that's the fun part. You got to turn that right brain on and be very creative. But first you got to shut off the other, which means you have to stop the emotions. What particular emotions, I know time to write, what particular emotions are causing her to overthink? I have to live through others. No. That should be the first thing you tap out. Even though I have to live through my mother, even though I have to live through my father, even though I have to live through my brother, even though I have, get it out. Get it down to zero. Do it several times. Every time you start doing that overthinking, and which creates a whole other aspect of the way you think. Okay? You can do this. Now, you're incredible people. And I feel like this is a brand new month. And it's about this aspect of you. Yes? Okay. I'm going to pick a card to help you, for those of that are supposed to look at it, dwell upon it, and then let it go, heal it, grow, whatever. And this is where I'm just asking people, Spirit's going to pick up the room. People are going to have to be starting to work on their second chakra. Now, there's a lot that you can do for that, but the main thing is that you need to look at how your relationship to self, the relationship to others, and that relationship with the tribe. And it's about learning, do you have to show up through tradition? Do I have to constantly do it in this manner? And you have tools that actually can help you break from it. There's so much more to learn about the second chakra because it is this aspect of yourself and what can't you let go? What can't you grow from? What second chakra, people will end up gaining weight down in the lower part of themselves because there's something that's always happening in that area. You need to develop it in all of your aura. And let me look in particular. They're thinking of something. I have to find it. Where did it go? Clumsy energy all of a sudden. They say majority of people out there are doing the back part of the chakra, and it's the quantity of sexual energy. And it's about intercourse. It's that feeling that it's okay to be pretty. It's okay to be feminine. It's okay to be male. It's okay to, and it's okay. And we're notoriously looking at our features and saying something's wrong with it. Something's bad about it. Nobody's going to want me. And it's that egotistical that's not connected to your higher self. That's not connected to your heart. And it's really can be annoying because we will sit there and close off life and become more spiritual, or we'll become something else instead of engaging with that part of our balance that we're supposed to. So in the upright position, it says second chakra, Archangel Ariel, intimacy and creativity. In the upright position, it says the second chakra vibrates in the energy of the beautiful angel Ariel. She sends a bright orange energy promoting inspired creativity and greater comfort with intimacy. When this card appears upright, it's urging you to get creative. Let yourself reach out into unexplored areas of self-expression and new projects that may have more creative approach. This is also a time when the energies of your closeness with others and nurturing yourself can flow more freely. You can now open yourself to the emotional intimacy that may be coming or coming your way. So nurture yourself and be ready to receive the affection and the camaraderie of the resonant souls around you. You have to learn how to give and receive. If it's in the reverse position for some, when this card is reversed, you may find that your creativity is being blocked. In this case, you might need to take more risk and open up the new and different ideas. Go ahead, go inward to find the feeling that may be causing the blockage. Heal it out. Call upon Ariel to help you release old fears and self-limitations. Affirm that you're open to Spirit's love and creative inspiration. This card, reverse, can also signal problems with intimacy of all kinds. Interesting. And issues of sexual intimacy in particular. Visualizing Ariel spinning a beautiful light in your second chakra, calming and healing the energy there. Know that real closeness can be both safe and comfortable with you, and that you deserve the depth of sharing of your relationships. So if you're into affirmations, my second chakra is open to its perfect healthy state. I'm creative and self-nurturing, more and more comfortable with the gentle waves of intimacy coming my way. Love her. Energy Oracle card, Sandra Ann Taylor. Okay? To me, that is very important. You're welcome, Sam. All right, so tomorrow night, I'll be here again. And I think I'm going to be going into, what is that name of that place, Lenny? It's a page on here, Lightworkers. I can't remember the name of it, but I think I might be doing a live in there too. It might be just I don't know what Spirit's got planned, but Spirit has been pushing me to do this. All right, you guys are awesome. I love you all. And remember, it's all about that emotional health that determines how the rest of your life's going to be, and your spiritual health, so that you then can figure out how to heal your life to have a happier one. So guess what? Stay blessed.